So what we're seeing here on the monitor, Villanova University is up here. Their boat is already in the water. Right now it is bumping against the speed gate, so it's wasting no time at all getting out into the course. It's through the start gate and then into the speed gate. So it's returning to base now to reposition. If we've got time, we'll show that quick video, but I'd like to quickly introduce Ryan, who's joining us up here on the podium for the live webcast. Ryan, thanks a lot for being up here.
Thank you.
And hopefully things are going to go well. You seem pretty confident with how the boat's going to do?
Yes, we've been doing a lot of work getting a solid range of threshold values in the different light. So we're hoping that even with the kind of difficult lighting conditions that we've got out here today, our algorithm will be able to deal with that.
Excellent. Well, looks like we're ready to go on the boat, so we're just going to hold off on that video until we get another piece of downtime.
I've got a quick question for you, Ryan, and that is over the last 2 runs, because I know you guys are watching the troubles that the other teams are having, have y'all made any changes based on your boat based on what's been happening to the previous 2?
We have not made any changes in our own code. We generally like to have what we're going to run with ready about an hour before we launch, just to make sure everything's in good shape.
Good.
And Zaz, we have 2 minutes and 15 minutes into the run right now, so I guess that would make us, what, 13 and a half out.
This looks pretty good, Ryan.
22 and a half, sorry. Terrible math.
We were wondering about that, Esteban.
I am clearly not an engineer.
So we're seeing a little bump there on the speed gate, I'm sorry, and squeaking through on the inside of the green. So that's great. That means you're through those gates and it's time to begin the channel navigation.
Now, Ryan, you made a comment to me when you first sat down about what has been happening this week. Restate that description of what your vehicle's been doing this week?
We've been having a little bit of trouble getting the boat to properly navigate the channel. So far our video detection has been working very well, but we've been turning a little bit earlier than we would like to and having the green buoys pass between our hulls, which it's showing us that our vision detection is working very well. It's just not where we would like to navigate.
So you said you've been eating the buoys, correct?
Yes, that's the term we've been using,
right.
Calling it Pac-Manning down the course.
So actually we've had a couple of questions come in from the web about vision and the changing light conditions. One person says, do people use light meters to calibrate their vision systems during the changing lighting conditions? And another asked a similar question, do the contest rules allow onboard white balance and camera auto calibration? So do you guys do any of that stuff?
As far as I know, there's nothing in the rules specifically about those. We've been considering doing that in the future. We haven't had time to implement that yet. We were experimenting a little bit with a filter to help get rid of some of the glare off the buoys and the reflections off the water, but that was not ready in time for this competition.
Yeah, I see the ducks coming into your field of view. Will they mess you up at all?
They should not. I expect that we will not pick them up as any sort of obstacle or buoy and we'll be fine on the course.
So far so good. We just went past what looked to me to be the first obstacle buoy. The boat, by the way, is now out of our field of view, so we're just as reliant on these webcasts as the rest of you to figure out what's going on with the robots. But I think that was a successful obstacle pass, and the ducks do not seem to be causing any problems at all.
I think it's clearly this is a case of nature and technology existing side by side, because we've been here, this is our 5th year, and this is about the first year the ducks have been that comfortable on the course with the boats, I think.
Well, a goose hissed at me earlier on the course when I was doing the description, so they seem to be getting along better with the boats than at least with me.
A lot of comments can be made off that, Zaz.
So the boat still doing its run. It's now passed into a little bit of a blind spot for us. As far as we know, everything is good. I just wanted to jump back to those calibration and camera issues. Auto white balance, camera calibration, that's all totally fine to do on the fly. It's just that for computer vision, that can actually cause more problems than it solves sometimes when the conditions are unpredictable for the camera. So that's why a lot of teams don't like to use those things.
Yes, we would like to depend more on getting out in the water ourselves in various lighting conditions, get the thresholds manually so we know what to expect. It's a little bit easier to debug if we do run into issues later on.
All right, so Ryan, you're coming to the end of the channel. Of the optional challenges, which of those are you planning to attempt?
Today we are going to be attempting the jackpot, the button pushing challenge, and the cheater's hand, where we shoot the water gun into the 5th ace in the deck of hands.
We're seeing a big crowd there flocking to the edge of the pool area to watch that robot. So there's a lot of excitement here on the ground as this is the first robot to get to the final end of the channel and attempt the challenge stages.
Now you just went over. Yeah, you just missed the red buoy. It looked to me like you straddled it and went right over it. I thought.
Yep,
yeah,
that looked like a Pac-Man job to me.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so now explain to us what the boat is doing, or what it's supposed to be doing.
So right now, once it leaves the buoy channel, it goes into a search pattern where it will approach the shoreline along several different trajectories, using the camera to try to detect the challenge stations that we would like to attempt. So it'll come out here a little bit of spin around, and then face the challenge stations on shore.
So it's surveying the shoreline.
Yes.
There is quite a lot of time remaining in the run, so I think everyone right now, having reached the end of the channel, is probably quietly confident. We're seeing some probably calm faces on the team members that not on the screen right now, but things feeling good.
Yes, it's definitely good that we've made it this far. I would be much more confident once we're back on the dock, though. I think we've had quite a bit of luck with the challenge stations once we make it out there.
Have had a question just come in on the web, which was how you are doing the detection of the 5th ace for the cheater's hand.
Originally we had video detection for the blue square that was supposed to be on the cheater's hand board, and in our test runs we were able to detect that very easily. However, the boards here proved to be significantly more glossy than we expected, so we kind of tweaked our code to look more at the center of the cheater's hand board as a whole.
So your water cannon just fired off. Is that a test of some kind, or was it did it visually recognize something that activated that?
That appeared to be that it visually recognized something that was not correct. I'm not sure what it was, but we have different actions for it to take, whether it finds something or not, and that appeared to be a detection of something that was not what we were aiming for.
Now what you can't see from here is there are a lot of people, you see just the tops of them now, there are a lot of people standing in certain areas watching this part of the course, and I'm wondering, Zaz, if we have the potential for some distractions from that side of it.
That's certainly possible. Those people are wearing all kinds of different colors, so there's a chance that the robot could be confused by that. Daryl, I've been suggesting that the robots should be able to get some bonus points for squirting spectators.
Absolutely.
Since they've got the water cannons. Seeing some spinning around here, where it's not quite clear to me which challenge stations are closest right now, but now we're seeing the robots sort of steam back.
That was actually the conclusion of our code. It was not successful in the challenge stations. So depending on the amount of time left, I anticipate we may be reattempting it.
Yeah, we're told that this is now under remote control. They're bringing it back.
So as we come back, this will give us a little bit of time to show Villanova's introduction video.
Villanova's been competing in the RoboBoat competition for the last 3 or 4 years now. Every year we've seemed to have our ups and downs, but the last few years we've noticed consistent errors in problems with the electronics because of the hot days in Virginia, maneuverability of the ship, not being able to turn on its axis like most ships at the competition, and also our weight was a huge factor. As we were nearing the max weight possible at the competition, we were getting a lot of deductible points on that. So we're focusing this year on creating a whole new boat this year that could be able to turn on its axis with differential drive, and also we want to cut somewhere between 50 to 60% of our weight.
So what's new about this boat? Everything. After last year's competition, we decided to put our old boat to the side and start planning anew. We decided on 2 hulls, catamaran style, to improve our stability in the water and also our maneuverability. So we did in-house fiberglassing to make the hulls that are now on SeaCat, our boat. We replaced a welded aluminum frame with square PVC piping. It's lightweight and durable enough for everything we need it to. We also found that we can make our boat just a little bit neater by running the wires through the piping.
One big design change that we had this year was to change our steering mode into differential. Last year we had a single motor and our rack and pinion steering system, but that didn't allow us to turn in place. So whenever we didn't find a buoy or some other object that we wanted to detect, we were kind of we didn't have anywhere to look. But now that we have differential drive, we can stop on the dime and we can turn in place if we can't find anything.
Throughout testing this spring and summer, I feel if our video navigation gets final tune-up before the competition, I feel like we can do very well, and we actually have a chance to do all the tasks there.
Yeah, after all the work we've put in, I've seen the other guys put in, and I put in, it should be really cool to see it out in the water, doing what it's supposed to do. It should be fun.
I'm really excited for this year's competition. We've got a brand new boat, and, well, I think it can do a lot.
We want to make sure that nothing is really hard-coded in. It's all, it can change completely on the fly because that's the nature of the competition. The buoys can be anywhere, the tasks can be anywhere. So it's very helpful to have our boat be able to recognize where these tasks are, complete them, and navigate back completely autonomously, not with GPS points or anything like that, but simply through video navigation.
At this point, there's a strategy decision to be made, because that was a pretty good run, and the decision to be made is, do they lock in the points or do they attempt another run with 10 or so minutes to go? And I think we've received word about what the decision has been.
Yes, we have decided to not make another attempt, and we will stand with the 11 buoys that we successfully navigated.
All right, so there you have it. That's a strategic decision. 11 successful channel buoys, start gate, speed gate, just hitting that last one of the channel navigation buoys. I think the obstacles were avoided too, if I observed correctly. Did you?
I believe so. It didn't appear to hit any of them from where I was looking.
So that's a really good channel run, and that's going to put a lot of points on the board for the other teams to have to attempt to catch up to. So potentially a very smart decision to not get greedy.
Yes, especially with the different lighting conditions, as much confidence as we have in our video, we feel it was best to be happy with what we got.
That was a good run. I mean, clearly it's a very good run compared to what we've seen so far, and time will tell whether it was the run that you want it to be.
Yes, I think it was the run that we're going to be happy with, but we'll see how we end up.
Very good.
One question coming in from the web before we move on. How do you detect the shoreline when you do those challenge runs? Do you do detection of the shoreline itself?
Right now we do not do detection of the shoreline. We had a line detection algorithm at one point in time, but that was not very successful in our testing, so we got rid of that, and it's more detecting the obstacles in front of us and going based on that.
Well, so hope that answers the question. We're going to throw over to Esteban on the dock in just a second. Brian, thank you so much for joining us out here. This has been great. You must be really happy with what you saw out there.
Yes, I'm very happy with this.
Congratulations,
Fantastic
Brian.
job this year.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm with Nick here from Villanova. Tough decision there, whether to run again. Were you happy with the run? Tell me about that decision.
It was a good run. We only missed one buoy set, so it's tough to decide. You know, if we have the repeatability to do it again and hit the same amount and retry the challenge stations. But we recently rewrote our search algorithm for the challenge stations, so it was kind of untested, and it wasn't really worth it to take the chance.
If it hadn't been for the failed attempt a moment ago that we just saw from Naval Academy and retrying the run, do you think you would have gone for it?
It might have swayed me a little bit more, but you know, to know that we already we got more buoys than the first two teams that went, it made the decision a little easier.
Great. Anything you expect to change for next year based on what you've learned this year?
We're going to try to implement a better tracking system of all the buoys around us to get a better idea, especially on a lot of the qualifying runs. There was a lot of sharp turns, and that messed us up a little bit, but you know, that's something to work on for next year.
All right, thanks so much, Nick. So Zaz, a lot of strategy going on here at the dock, not just autonomy. And so we're excited to see the next few runs. Thanks, Villanova. We'll see you next year.
Sponsors again, too.
Yeah.